On January 6, 2020, the new Lowell School Committee was sworn in. They were full of energy and excitement about their upcoming term, completely unaware of what was lurking just 2 months down the road. This school committee, including freshman members Hilary Clark and Mike Dillon and freshly chosen Mayor John Leahy, suddenly found themselves helping to steer the Lowell Public Schools through an unprecedented pandemic, while at the same time working to bolster the values that make LPS great and keep the district moving forward into the future, serving all Lowell students in the best way possible. Hilary Clark brought her perspective as a Lowell Public Schools parent and engaged member of the community to the school committee. She was a leader on initiatives to make the LPS community more equitable, inclusive, and welcoming. As a human resource professional, she saw the value of professional development and lifelong learning for staff.
We are in the business of education, and we as leaders must lead by example. This motion is just a small step, but I believe it really exhibits the value of lifelong learning, which is something I believe we want for all of our students and really all of our community members. This is about increasing awareness and understanding, and I hope that my colleagues will support this motion.
Hilary worked to support all students in the district by requesting that school dress code policies be reviewed and updated to reflect cultural sensitivity and gender neutrality so no student is punished or made to feel targeted for being themselves.
I think it's been quite a while since this policy's been reviewed and or written, and we do know that the policy itself tends to impact certain groups of students, specifically females, and really we want to get with the times, I think, and make sure that our policy can be applied evenly across the board and make sense for current times. So without any sort of body shaming, so I think I appreciate the opportunity to bring this forward. Thank you.
Mike Dillon's life has been dedicated to serving the community as a teacher, firefighter, wrestling coach, and for these last 2 years as a member of the school committee. On the school committee, Mike has been a strong advocate for athletics, arts, and all extracurricular activities, especially during the height of the pandemic, when he urged the administration not to overlook the social and health values of extracurricular activities for students. Mike led the charge to create a department head position for physical education at Lowell High School that would be separate from that of athletic director, providing for stronger and more effective leadership in both physical education and team sports.
Back to a lot of stuff that I had talked about earlier about keeping our kids physically active, but also socially active, and there's a direct correlation between offering extracurricular activities. I think I got it. Extracurricular activities and dropout rates, and especially now in a time where it's extremely difficult for students to stay on remote learning. I think it's extremely important that we continue to offer these possibilities for them to get out, maybe get to the building, meet with people, and stay active. So, thank you.
Mike has been a champion of good governance on the committee, often questioning how or why things are done. He is bold and is never afraid to voice and stand by his opinions, even when they may be unpopular.
I have a little bit different perspective, and we put so much importance on social emotional learning under normal circumstances, but somehow we are not putting that at the forefront right now when it's far more important than any other time. I've dealt with depression for the last 8 years. Since 2012, I've been struggling with depression. What that did for me is understand the mental health area very well. If you just look big picture at how we're handling our issues these days, it's like we're in a movie. Nobody knows how to handle their own feelings, and nobody knows how to relate their own feelings to other people. And that's how we find ourselves in this gigantic mess. And to think that through remote learning we can really effectively check in on kids' emotions and kids' social interactions on a daily basis, we're kidding ourselves.
In his role as the city's 92nd mayor, John Leahy served as the chair of the school committee and liaison between the school committee and city council. But John was no stranger to the school committee. Prior to joining the city council, he served for 10 years on the school committee. Chairing the body provides a different perspective and obligation than sitting on the floor. However, John stayed true to who he was while he served on the school committee the first time, prioritizing facilities and grounds improvements, knowing that the physical plant has an enormous impact on both pride in one's school and the ability of teachers to educate effectively.
Just to, with spring here, I just want to make sure that we're all in sync and we all understand the responsibilities of the building. So I just want to make sure that I would say as principals of this school that, we all work in coordination with the principals to make sure that any trash, any debris that's dumped on the school grounds be coordinated with the head custodians, make sure that we have good communication with DPW or parks.
In his role as mayor, John led the charge to declare racism a public health crisis in the city, a crusade that failed on the city council floor but prevailed at the school committee.
You got to look in the mirror. You got to feel uncomfortable. We're here to educate. What's the cutoff? When we get one student or we get 10 students come to us and they say they have an issue with this, what's the cutoff? Do we not help one student? Do we wait until it affects 10? Students have told us there's issues. My kids have told me there's issues. Parents have told me there's issues. This needs to pass. We need to go on this. Where we go from here, we declared it. It's a problem. We're going to work on it. And this is what we do. We educate.
Although Hilary, Mike, and John will no longer be members of the school committee, we know their dedication and commitment to the students of Lowell Public Schools will continue. Thank you for your service.